back here with Baba Is You, where I'm just hot off recording that French Scribble Knots video, so my brain is being stretched out in multiple directions today. That is also very mentally stimulating, trying to record in a different language, but in rather a different sort of direction. Probably is good for my brain overall, but it sure was tough. I did enjoy it quite a bit, though. Regardless, we are down here in the depths. It occurs to me that it's possible that... Or actually, do we know that we're missing a specific level? Because I was saying earlier that maybe it's something weird like text will become level at some point. And one of these words will be level. Although I think we'd have to have one of these say write text, which doesn't seem like it's coming. But it might be that the only thing that's preventing this world from being complete is the fact that we haven't 100%ed depths. I'm not sure. Or there may yet be one more to do. We shall see. Regardless, at the moment, the thing to do is depths. And we last time just got as far as making this thing say level so that we could do something like rock is level, get the cursor onto the skull, and then get it off onto Secret Stage 2, Parade. Is there a word level somewhere in here? Oh, there is not. Fascinating. Okay. That I'm a little stuck because I was actually thinking that what was in Parade here was going to help us with the whole Baba and Key situation, but clearly there is yet more logic to do on this overarching puzzle, but let's start with Secret 2 for the moment before I try and figure out how to get the key to that door. I almost called it. I tried to look for the French word for it. I was like, get the la clé aux portes. Because I was just doing that French challenge. I've got to shift gears in my brain away from that. It is a lot easier talking in English. I feel like I've been unshackled somehow. Although it was, again, like I say, quite fun trying to record in French. Okie dokie. So, we have Skull is swap. Wallace, stop. Stop and swap. Bug is push, Kiki is move, Baba is you, a belt is a shift. So we want that me to be move at some point, we think, so that it goes down and pushes the flag to be is win. That seems to be the ultimate objective, or unless we can like make the bricks shift or something weird. Kiki is currently move, so we could say, naively we might say me is Kiki, but I think I see what's going to be going wrong with that. The problem with that is that will turn this one into a Kiki and it will move and break Baba is you, like so. So even though it's so nice that flag becomes win, there's no one to be us and win on it. So presumably either we're gonna block this one somehow, or we're going to do something like put some other words here so that something else gets to be us when it gets as far as here. We got a bug word in this corner here. We can so basically we're using this is to turn objects into other objects. We're not doing all that much messing with the rules. The rules are kind of static. Wall is stop, Kiki is move, skull is swap, bug is push. Oh, if bug is push, that means I can push it as it stands right here. And I see. So I believe the reason that this is shaped like this is that you couldn't say that the bug is Kiki, so because then it could go up here and left and push that there, and then the Baba thing there. But it's designed specifically so that you couldn't. There's no way to get it. So that this Baba is you statement gets reformed over here. I think that's the idea. So let me just ask, what can I do from the start here? I could say Kiki is Kiki, me is Kiki, skull is Kiki, there are no skulls at the moment, or bug is Kiki, bug is me, bug is skull. Me does not have any special properties, is that correct? So me is basically just something that they expect you to transform later. I am cognizant of the fact that we could, with one single is, do multiple transformations like this. Not that I know why we would want to do that just yet. So skull is swap. I don't understand why we would need that yet. I presume that we will need it. I just don't know why yet. And of course, I suppose if I could go through here, but since me is nothing, I can just go through them at the moment to do belt is stop. So I can go through once, essentially, to set something up, I think is the idea. So in theory, I could do something along the lines of putting skull and Kiki up here. I couldn't even do that because I can't push them up after that. I was going to say if I could get the word skull and Kiki up here, I could put them here such that it just pushes along until Kiki is you. But since it's going to stay down here, that's a no-go. Because if we could just make it so that it moves Baba left twice and then Kiki ends up here, then it would be fine. We could just take direct control of the Kiki at that point. Oh, no, that wouldn't even help anyway, because to do that and then get out would require making the belt stop, which point, if we were the Kiki that was in here, we'd be trapped anyway, so that's a no-go also. So I think skull is going to be the key to this. I get that we can push bug, so if we can, in theory, get the bug in there somewhere to swap to then become a skull and swap something or something like that, but I think it is basically just going to be, like, get something in here, and then make 2 transformations. I don't think they're going to play too tricky with us here, is how I feel. So I've noticed that we have this sort of locked off statement that we can turn something into a Keke. It feels like we would assume we were going to want to do that with me at some point. So just taking that as an assumption for the moment, and we've got bug in this corner, and it comes with an is, but this is removable, which feels important. Or at least it's not enclosed on either side, which might be important. So if I were to push the bug in here, it stays down there, and even if I turn, no matter what I turn it into, it will never not be on this altitude now. Because I cannot turn it into Baba. I suppose there is the possibility that we could get a word in here and say Baba is that thing. But then something would only be you if we then got something else pushed up here. Which, as I was saying before, there's no way to get a word up here to push. So I don't think we're trying to change Baba is you ever. So actually it kind of sounds more like we never want to touch Baba is you, because I don't see that there is any way to get a different word up here, nor use this U in a different direction, like use it horizontally. So I think Baba is you is going to stay. So there is no function to doing something like Baba is Keke, I don't think. And in fact, there's a strict anti-function of it, as in it's a bad thing to do. So we're going to get in here, do something that does not involve adding a word to here, and then leave. And then presumably do some other stuff. So that kind of makes it sound like the only thing it could be is push the bug in here, right? I don't know why, though. Push the bug in here and then turn it into something. It's unusual because the whole skull is swap thing is only useful if something moves into it or it moves into something, right? And it can't move, except by swapping. So it sounds like you want to move something else into it, which is going to be a Keke. So you're going to move a Keke into a skull at some point. I don't actually see a point where that could occur. Oh, well, I suppose you could do... Yeah, you could, Once you got the bug there, you could do bug as skull, and then you can swap it around. Oh, well, I'm stuck on the conveyor belt. Oh, huh? Sorry, why did that happen? Why did it let me do that? Oh, because I waited. Okay, so if I wait, then it'll go there, and then I can move the skull, just because I'm like, what else would the skull be for if not swapping something else? So I can do this, I guess, to sort of manipulate the skull up into this elevation, which is the only thing I can think to do with it. I suppose in theory, if you can delay the Keke long enough, such that this one doesn't break Baba as you before this one hits flag as wind, that would be good. I mean, one skull isn't enough to do that. Even if I did, sorry, not skull as Keke, but me as Keke now. That will buy us, it doesn't even buy us turn, right? Because that just swaps the skull. The skull isn't doing anything to swap the Keke back. And yet this doesn't feel over much wrong. I can't individually push any one of these things without catastrophe. This is the only thing I can see to do with the bug, though. Let me just start again. So the bug is, if the bug is push, the utility of something that is push, so you can't turn anything into a bug. The bug, you're going to push it somewhere and then turn it into something else, the way it's in this corner here, right? And again, I don't think it's like you're trying to get 2 Kekes moving in tandem here to push the Baba as you statement and reform it because of this Nubbins here, and also you would need 3 in that case anyway, even if Sir Nubbins was not here. So it very much has the feel that you're going to push, and the me, we already said, is only exists to have something to turn into something later, which we think is Keke. I mean, this one has to be Keke, so by this one would then become Keke. So I'm pretty sure it's like we turn the me into a Keke by the end as our last move, or next to last move. I don't see the function of a second one to turn the bug into, which by process of elimination, we're turning the bug into a skull somewhere, and it's only useful if something moves into it, so by process of elimination, we're turning the bug into a skull and putting it in the path of this me that will become a Keke. That's the only thing I can think to do with it, but I don't understand in what place it would be useful. The only place I can think it would be useful is right here, because then the Keke would push the Baba onto it, and then it would swap it back to where it just was. So the Baba thing would stay intact for a few more turns at least. 2, 3, 4. That would be just enough time. But how do we get a skull on the other side of it? I am not sure. And because of the way this is restricted, I can only bring this skull so far to the right here before I can't do anything else here without moving it. And obviously there are a lot of words I'm not using if I'm only making these 2 transformations here. And what I was getting at was, as it stands, once the Keke up there breaks Baba as you, we are 1, 2, 3, 4 turns away from victory. So if the skull were on the other side, such that Keke was here and walked here pushed the Baba into the skull, swapped it back to here. Oh, no, I guess then... No, that doesn't make sense. Sorry. What would actually happen is... What would happen if the skull was here was you'd push Baba onto it, Baba would stay here, and then the skull would go here. So that wouldn't help? It doesn't matter anyway, because I don't know how I would orchestrate that. Okay, is there any purpose to setting the bug in here, then turning it into a skull, and then later turning that skull into a Keke? I don't see one. I guess since I have a Keke word here, I could do something like, well, not really with this. If I got the is over here, it would be possible to do something like me is Keke and then just change it back. Not quickly though, I guess. Maybe that's the reason there are two, to do like... Oh, is this a situation where doing alternating will help? Keke is me is Keke, this sort of thing, where it transforms back every turn? That plus a skull maybe does something? Ooh, now that I think about it, if I could have it turn back and forth between a skull every turn, then I could like run up there and manipulate it to some degree. That would kind of fit with the parade idea of like a bunch of colorful things marching in a line, right? So maybe it's more like me is Keke and then Keke is skull, and then it's gonna like transform back and forth every turn, like this sort of thing. Oh no, it doesn't. There's no skull is Keke then. And also it doesn't make use of the bug. But supposing I did something, I probably just don't have enough time to do this before it all goes bad. But if I did, could I do something like Keke is me, and then Keke is skull here? Skull is Keke, and then it slots back and forth, and then I won't catch up in time even still, but... I feel like there's something to that, even still. Of course, I haven't used the bug, and so we're assuming we're going to have to. Is there something... Could I turn the bug into something facing... If I could have the... Maybe if I do the bug into a skull, but where it would have to be facing this somehow, wouldn't it? Ooh, okay. Wait. I think maybe I was sort of right with everything I've tried so far. Because if I do this sort of thing, and then turn you into a skull, and then get you in such a way that you're facing this other one, like this, I could have you... Oh, what? Wait, what? Oh, I don't change the way you're facing? Well, that's unfortunate. I sure thought I did. I was gonna say if I could get you up here facing to the right, then I could do the whole skull as Keke thing and they'd run into each other and like keep swapping each other, maybe? No, they wouldn't, because they only move when they're not skull. Okay, that wouldn't work anyway. Okay, sorry, so trying the transmogrification strat once more. The problem is simply I do not get there in time to start swapping this thing backwards, correct? I believe so. So is there, but it feels like it feels like a not far off solve, doesn't it? So is there some way that I could use the bug to delay that me up there? As far as I know, the skull is only going to be swapped if something moves into it, because it can't be moved at the same time as swap, because Keke's the only thing that's move. So something has to like move into it for it to activate. It's not as though I could have the skull be swap and move and then like put Baba more to the right to give us more time or something like that. I don't believe that's what's going on here. Bug is push, which gives it some solidity, but of course it will be pushed around, so putting it in front of it just ain't right anyway. Maybe there's such a thing as, we do Bug is skull, just so we can swap it ourselves up to the right elevation, because that does feel like it's kind of right? Like, why else? What else would we be doing with it? Like, what good is it doing putting the bug in here, but like down here? And then we changed the skull to a me? Or, man, that really only works if it's facing to the right, doesn't it? I was gonna say make it me so that we could, like, whilst the other ones were transforming between Keke's and skulls, but I don't have the room for that. Like, I can't, that's not orchestratable. like if we were to do something like this, it's no longer possible to then go skull as me in any kind of timely manner after having done this, because just there's no time, especially if I've put the first one up there. But since push is seemingly something that doesn't actually help like explicitly up there anywhere, I'm assuming the push is just to allow us to move it into the correct place. Not place. We're not speaking French anymore. Admiral. We mise en place the bug. And the only thing, and again, once it's here, pushing it, I mean, like, I don't see what pushing it around this area does, which leads me to believe that you're supposed to push it up here, because I assume it's the thing that's going in here, not one of the other words. Well, and the reason I thought that was because... Why did I think that? Because pushing the other words down here, just, they also appear to be stuck at the bottom, unless you can do something like this, and then turn the bug into a skull, and it doesn't feel like this would actually help you move the words very much. Like if to do something like that, it doesn't feel like it's doing what I was hoping for. I don't think there's a way really, once you get the text here, to get it up past this point. So again, all that would let you do is something, Baba is something, which almost inevitably gets the you trapped, I'm pretty sure. All that to say, it did feel right what I did where I said the bug goes up there and then we're going to turn the bug into a skull and then we're going to do something with this, because it's the only way I can really feel like we're putting that bug somewhere and having it mean something really sort of substantial. So the question remains, what do we do with the skull facing this way? Because once it comes out of the conveyor belt, the bug, I mean, there's no way to make it not face left. Not while you're still in here. Only if you were already in here and you did something like this to make it face right, but then of course you can't, the skull is in the wrong place. And the belt is stopped so you can't get back in. So I think the bug is skull transformation has to happen before you go in there, which case the thing is definitely going to be facing left for always. Is there some way to still work with that constructively? Because as far as I know at this point, if you then do the whole transforming back and forth dealio, you get them in alternation doing this thing, which it doesn't matter. It's still, the Keke is going to push that Baba to the far left, and they might do some weird things with each other at that point, but I mean, not really. Nothing that gets the Baba back out anyway. But I don't really feel like I'm on the wrong track with this whole Keke is blank as Keke thing. Maybe the idea... Oh, you know what? Maybe we can do this just up until it goes left here, and then we say that skull is Keke, and it's gonna walk onto the other one. Oh, that didn't happen. I was hoping the skull would like put the other me backwards, and then we could. It would be something where we were like jogging these two back and forth. Oh, that wouldn't work anyway because this one needs to be always moving forward, and we're not turning anything back into bug. I gotta remember that bug is there once to push somewhere and then turn it to something else. I imagine, and I can't shake the feeling that the way I've done it with skull is right. It just feels like there should be some way to make it move right against the other ones. They can like swap each other in weird ways. The thing I have to remember is it's not swap and move at the same time. It only swaps when something else goes into it. So that makes it sound like you're supposed to do something where like it walks into the other one and then you turn the one that just walked into a skull and then say this one walks, and so they're both kind of like pushing each other back over and over again. But I don't think you have enough. Certainly the way I was doing the parade here, it takes me like 8 turns to get to the other side to change it back. So I'd need a much faster turnaround than that. And yet this feels very close to the solution somehow. Like I'm just need to swap it around by one word or something like that, you know? Like this, and then skull is Keke. And then don't do anything. Well, I think maybe the better way to break that would be to do it with the is, so that I'm not... Oh, okay, that wasn't fast enough. Oh, right, because the thing I need to break is skull is Keke at the bottom here, which does lose the me forever. Okay, so I'm almost 100% certain that this me moves down by being Keke. So since we don't have any conditionals, this me is also going to become a Keke when we do that. So it's literally just about how do we keep this Keke from moving forward very much. I don't think we're trying to do anything where we like break this statement and rebuild it. I think the only reason they didn't put it so that it was just one little gap for the Baba to be broken is because then it would be too... Oh, well... I was going to say it would be too easy to put another word here, but it wouldn't, would it? So why did they build it this way instead of wall, 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 wall? What is the purpose of this structure? To allow you to rebuild it one time? Or is there some way to get around the other side of it and plug these two somehow? Mind Parade also kind of has the sound of things moving all at once, as though you're supposed to have something moving here, and then you're here moving with them. Which again only works if these two are plugged, so to speak. Before that point, otherwise the two on the top and bottom will just break the whole statement. So the Keke and the me are going to be moving forward at the same time, like being the same entity. So what do I do with the skull? It feels like this isn't far off, like walks into the skull and swaps it back, and then I say, well, now the skull moves forward. And then goes here, and then at that point it should be me is Keke and it walks into the skull again, just to keep doing stuff to like ring these two around. I feel like that's kind of what it's going on. I just don't know how to physically build that. Oh wait, maybe it's as simple as maybe it's a silly idea to have them like back to back like this. Maybe it's more like do this kind of thing, and then once it swaps the skull, take that off and get it out without remaking the statement. Oh, how do I do that? So actually, I guess I'd have to, it's more like break it from the other side. I'm not gonna have time to do that every time though, am I? But at least for this time, when it swaps, I break it from this side. And then, oh, maybe the thing to do is push it from this side, I guess. Like, skull is Keke, and it walks forward. Wait. No. Oh, wait. Then it's me as skull? No, because then this one needs to. Again, like, I can get a little bit of headway this way. Get this thing like slightly closer to the wind than it would be before by delaying it like one turn, like this kind of thing. Okay, hang on. I think I'm not far off this. I'm just not quite thinking about it the right way. So, swaps that skull. Just break that statement. Now what would be best is if that skull became a me. Well, then we have 3 me, so I guess that can't be right? Because they need to be out of step, I think, for this to work. And as soon as I turn the skull into a Keke like this, me is skull doesn't really work anymore. I feel like this is the name of the game, though, right? This feels like so close to the right idea, is having the because it's like this thing and this thing move at the same time. So how do I make it so that this one reaches its goal before this one? I delay this one somehow. How can we do that? Swap it with a skull, then have the skull swap with it. That would require it to be a skull at that point, and without them all being skulls, because if I just do skull as me, or me as skull now, either, we have all the same entity, and so then if I were to do this Keke as skull as Keke thing again, they're just going to walk at the same time, and that doesn't help. And it's the same problem if I do it the other way around, turn this skull into a me, that we're in the same boat. The fact that they're out of step now is an asset in theory, and it feels like this changing situation is key to that, but how do I make it move and then change? Like move and then swap with the other one. It feels like this should work. This should swap the me backwards, that it moves forward and then swaps to the skull, because it did move in this turn. And the skull is swapped, so it feels like that should pull the me backwards. But it doesn't. But there's a way to pull the me backwards, right? Or the Keke? Because if there weren't, this would be over. Is there some way to get this to be skull and Keke, and they're like alternating between each other, I guess is a question worth asking. Wait. Yeah, actually, I think that's it. I think it's just about it's about replacing this at the correct time, isn't it? When they're like this, so that they just do this over and over. Brilliant. Okay, I knew I was hovering around the right thing there for a while. That makes so much sense. Can I go out of here so that my cursor isn't there? Thank you. Well, that was like the length of a full episode doing that mission, as I expected a lot of the ones in this place would be like. It just took a lot of thunking there. It was a very fun level, though. So I could end it there, but I'd like to try and deal with this key and the door before we carry on, because it does feel like getting the key to this door is where we're headed next. So we simply have a puzzle of how do we get through this Baba without facing it as the skull, or is there something else we could use to get this key to the door? Something else that could be us. I don't think anything else could be us at the moment, and it seemed like the only other item we could get from this here would be, I mean, what could we get? Belt, I guess. We can't write anything, and we're not getting Kiki or Skull out of here, so we could get a belt out of here, which is silly, and I wouldn't want to. I think level was the right thing. So all I've done with that so far is rock his level. Is there something, level is push doesn't really do anything, right? It just means the whole level. It doesn't mean the objects within the level are push. It means if there was something else pushing the entire level, it would push it. We have the object word grass here, but we don't even appear to have any such things, and it's not accessible from a side where we could say that rock is grass and then grass is level. Although again, that would just make this particular entity of rock be a level, which we have already done. I can put a rock here. For all the really good that does. If Baba weren't push, it would be obviously a lot easier. Of course, we'd want Baba to be pushed for this thing eventually when we somehow find a way to push it out of the whole thing so we can get to the flag and or this secret stage. But for now, the problem is, how does one get this key to hit this door? I'm pretty sure. / we may be able to get the door word from stage 1 cleaning service here. What other things could we have made this level? We could say that level is wall, door, skull, not flag, Baba, or level. As in text to make it say level. But, I mean, skull is the only thing that is you at this point, so... And the cursor doesn't get to push things, I don't think so. That doesn't feel like it would actually help that much. I feel like I've got the levels set to what they ought to be, somehow. Because, like, making another door here wouldn't help with the door down there. Now, if we had right in one of these, that would be a very different story. We could say, like, level right wall, and then... you would get the word wall up here to use to say wall is push or some such. And am I positive there was no getting the word level out in stage 2 here? It does not really feel like it. The only word in here that is an object is flag, but I don't even see how you'd get an is out, but even if you could, that would just get you a flag here, which would expedite winning this. It wouldn't really help you with any of the rest of the stuff in this. So I can't break anything here, because that text isn't weak or anything. If Baba is push, I can't walk through it like this. If I push the key here, that's staying there forever. If I go up here, I can't move beyond. Moving the rock ahead of me, I don't see how it helps in any way. If I could say water is push or something like that, or rock is sink and push, then I could push it into the Baba to, like, get rid of it. I don't see another way to make anything else open. It's an interesting one because I don't actually see with any object what I would do to get this key out of there if, I mean, aside from controlling something that isn't a skull, but that doesn't seem to be in our control right now. Skull not facing Baba's keys, push doors shut, flag is when rock is push, wall stop, door stop, Baba's push, water is sink, keys open. Interesting. If the key were pull, perhaps, but I don't have access to the key where even if I had the word pull, nor do I have anywhere to write it. That is obvious. Again, if I were to somehow control this one, like get rid of level as though by doing something as push and sink, well, I can't extract the push with the sink, so we already kind of talked about why that's not really viable. But even if I could, and I made one object here, since there was no right word up there, because I don't think we've ever done level right, it wouldn't get me another word here, it would just get another object like a rock or a key or something, which, granted, if it was a rock, I could then, like, push it out of the way and get to this thing, but this feels very much like you're supposed to come at it from this side after pushing Baba. You push Baba out of the way, and then instead of going to the flag, you go down and around, and then push this and then get to this stage. That's how it feels to me. It doesn't feel like you're supposed to turn this into something and then push it. Not that I can exactly rule it out, it just doesn't seem like the way. Is it as simple as... how do I get the word rock out? I don't have to. I should have probably have seen this earlier. I can say that Baba is something else here. For one thing, I could say that Baba is level, which might even get us another level to explore it as well. Oh, so it does, as well as fixing our problem. Should have probably done that with the cursor on me. Like this. Delightful. Okay, so that's got us another level, as well as giving us a way to open this door. Yo, there's 2 more things to do next time, but all I wanted to do really was solve the problem of how are we getting to our next stage. So next time we'll be carrying on with collaborative effort and or Secret Stage 3, Hidden Relic. Oh, as well as Secret Stage 4, Buried Treasure. Boy, ain't that just so frick diddly exciting? 3 more levels we've just unlocked. And it almost seems like this is probably going to be stage 5, so there actually maybe won't be too many numerical stages going on around here. There might be even more secret stages than them. Regardless, I suppose it depends what it gives us after 4 here. If it gives us some way to push this grass, we could get Baba is grass, and then we could just walk on through here, which would get us to the flag as well as Secret Stage 1 here. So there's all kinds of stuff to do next time is the point. But that is all for now. All I really wanted to do once we completed this stage was figure out how to get to the next few. Because that, as I say, took about the length of an episode anyway. Which is what I expected from most of these depth stages, that they would get a little more twisty and stuff, and require more dedicated, concentrated time. So the next video on the channel is going to be some more Persona 3 Portable. Thank you so very much for coming around. Hopefully I'll see you around. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace! Change is about to occur with me. I can now store up to 8 Personas. Oh, wow, okay. So that basically does make it sound like 6 was the limit before. So every 10 levels, do I get another Persona limit expansion? 8's not bad. I mean, I can't, it's kind of hard to imagine ever eating more than 8. But I'll take as many as I can get. There's no harm in filling up on them.